Welcome back, fellow citizens of Jardim, the Super President. This is the show in which we try to build our own country, take over the entire universe, and fix all the universe's problems. There are things that certain people like to be called, and normally be called your name, but there are other times in which things might be just a little bit more sinister than that. You see, people like to rate, rank, and separate people into different buckets, by which they can then pour some buckets on the fire and leave other buckets in the rich people town. That's right, I'm talking about kings, lords, and all other things. Let's take a fun topic and make it annoyingly real. Now, it's a little more straightforward than you might even think. We can just simply go down the list of titles that people can have. First off, let's take a look at Lord. Just like I'm coming up behind you, lording over you. Oh no. You can only be born into being a lord. How do you do that? You're rich, and your kid? They have rich now too. You've spilled your rich all over them, and now you have a title that they just get to have. Well, it's more insidious than that, because you can also buy lordship. Which, may I add, for a shockingly low price nowadays. It takes less than $50 for one to be given a parcel of land by which you can be a lord over, because there's a loophole in the system. You see, off in the day, they realize that you can't just make a lord every now and again. You have to give them the ability to grant parcels of land to other people and then declare them lord over that little bit of land. Because of course now, you can buy tiny wee little bits of land you can lord over. You see, if you leave a loophole, people will kick the whole door in, because the loophole's not big enough to fit everything they want through the door. All you really need to know about being a lord is if you're rich and powerful and have powerful friends, you'll be fine. Moving on from lord, you have doctor. You see, back in the days, doctors were the people who took care of you and each other, hopefully. Maybe not too much. Hopefully they don't self-diagnose as much as other doctors, though I hear apparently they do. I didn't even research that. I just know people in the medical field. I'm effectively talking out of my butt, which I'm told I should get checked. Butt talking, not the butt itself. My butt is fine. The problem is, over time, you can't just say everybody who thinks they can heal a broken toe is a doctor. Don't step on it. You're good. See, some people need to go above and beyond, because the toes that grow back straight versus the toes that grow back crooked, maybe the different qualifications are slightly different. So some people can be a doctor when they've gone to school for being a doctor. Or eventually, if they've gone to school for anything for long enough. And then after a while, you could just do an online school where sometimes people buy fake degrees. Now universities can give honorary doctorates, which has had historical controversy because it's usually exchanged for donations or given to powerful friends of faculty. So if you want to be a doctor, real easy, just be rich and have powerful friends. How about a knight? Wonderful thing to be a knight, pledging your service for someone else, going into battle, risking your life for the greater good. Well, used to be that way, because eventually there was nobody to pledge to. Now it's kind of to the country. And then around like World War I-ish, they decided, well, you know, it can't just have the war thing, so we'll just let people in. But statistically, it's weirdly rich and famous people. Now on the list of knights, you have people like Ringo Starr and Michael Bloomberg. To be fair, Bloomberg is not technically a knight because he's not British, because you've got to be British to be a knight. He's technically a thing which is a KBE, which means, yeah, not British. So if you go to the Britain place and you become a Britain person, then you're automatically upgraded to first class. And by that I mean knight status. And by that I mean not economy, business class on the airport. So to be a knight, be rich and famous, and have rich and famous friends. Be powerful. Moving on, what about Esquire? You see, back in the day, Esquire was just meant being rich. It was just the bourgeoisie. It was the people who were like above gentlemen, but below knight. And we just couldn't separate people out granularly enough, so we made up another one. Oh, I need to know you're better than him, but not as good as him. And you may notice the gendered language here. They didn't like women back then. And in most, they're not great about it now. Let's move on. But in Scotland, it still literally just means fancy rich person. So, come on, Scotland. It doesn't help either that if you go into the United States, it means lawyer, which statistically is just a fancy rich person that can sue you, but doesn't have to hire someone else to do it. So if you'd like to be an esquire, be rich, famous, and successful in Scotland, or a lawyer in the States. How about king, queen, princess? What about those wonderful titles associated with the royal family? Well, that one is pretty straightforward. Either start your own monarchy, which could be technically done, or be born into a monarchy. You see, being in a monarchy is quite difficult. Beheadings, betrayals, people always fighting, marrying for power struggles, weird. And then like, ooh, what is all the politics? No, you don't need to control anything anymore. Most monarchies are just rich people again. Now, instead of you running the lands just give you things in exchange for tourism. That's the fun part about monarchy. You don't even get to play this lottery. Just give people money for existing. You may notice a tone of cynicism and skepticism in my voice through all of this. Why would that be? Because I'm a Canadian. Now you might go, Darren, Canada's not different in every way. It's not like it's contrarian central. Think again. Guess what? It's Canada. We're weird again. I tricked you. You thought this was a thing about titles that turned into a depressing thing about social class. It was, but now it's a history lesson about ancient Canada, which is not that ancient because, well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, we only took the land from indigenous people kind of by force about like 150 years ago. Let's just move on, shall we? Canada's history is very short and awfully weird. You have the Canadian titles debate. I'm not aware of this being anywhere else in the world, but I refuse to Google it on the off chance it made me do more research. 100 years ago, in 1917, you had Conservative MP William Folger Nicol, which is why it's called the Nicol Resolution, in the House of Commons of Canada. There was controversy at the end of World War I where people being given titles, because the problem is some titles you just get, but some titles are hereditary, where it's like, you're rich and my friend, now your kids get to be better than everyone else too. You can see in Canada, they found that to be extremely undemocratic. And literally, this actually passed in the House of Commons, and they straight up told Britain, hey, Britain, stop giving Canadians titles. Now, in 1935, William Lyon Mackenzie King came back to power in Canada. As head of Canada, he's like, nah, screw that, and decided that no titles should be given out anymore. And as of 1935, it's just not happened. And it's even more weird than that because the precedent's kind of grown into this big thing. And you might go, this is kind of a weird old thing that doesn't happen anymore. Welcome to the early 2000s. Hi, I'm John Chrétien. I've signed golf balls and I'm leader of Canada. Oh, what's that? I'm Conrad Black. I'm a very rich, famous person who wants to be better than everyone. I'm British and Canadian, dual citizenship. Conrad Black gets offered a title. Set the stage. Conrad Black was offered a life peerage. It basically means you're cool always, and you just get that attached to your personage and name. John Chrétien, then leader of Canada, decides to sue him. It goes to the Supreme Court, and Canada wins. Now, you might wonder, how does that work because Britain isn't in Canada's jurisdiction? It's not. And this is the craziest part. Conrad Black, rather than lose the opportunity to pretend he's better than people with a fake name under stuff, gave up Canadian citizenship. So he's like, nah, I'm just British now. I'd rather do that than not have a little title next to my name. Canada. This has been a history lesson. In Canada, we call them heritage moments. All three Canadians watching this from Canada, will understand that reference. It's Canadian TV commercials designed to teach us about history because no Canadians knew nor cared. Why would somebody be so unwilling to give up a title? Because that's how humans are. I'm making this one of those things where I teach life morals now at the end. That's great, I'm a TV kids show from the 90s. Not everyone needs to have a little piece of paper telling them they're better than everybody else. And perhaps you would all get along better if we didn't. That's it. That's the whole video. Bye now. So this has been your super presidential candidate, Darren, signing off for Saturday, saying welcome to Jar. Jar takes all kinds. You are family now. Please join us this week and every week. We go up every single Saturday, Monday, and we hang out on Wednesdays. Don't forget to check down below in that description for links to fun things, and I will leave you as all in that viewer-submitted motto for Jar, in the conlang for Jar, I never get those words right, which is Mam Donna Paman Lem, Mi'u Donna Paman Ia Li'ita Mi'u Mam Li'ita. See you on Monday. And this episode has been brought to you by Luke and Rachel, two wonderful people that are merely just people. And I like it that way, because people is as people is. This is like a weird movie quote now.